Hello, everyone. This is Gruesome Herzog. Tonight's guest is Logan Fry. How you doing, Logan?
Hi, Gruesome. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Just want to let you know that I was up at Horrifying with you. I seen you, but you didn't see me, so maybe sometime we'll hook up and
It was my first one.
shoot the
That
shit.
was my first convention. That was a lot of fun.
Mine
It was a lot
too.
of fun. I'm going to go back. I don't know if my wife's coming back, but I know I will be.
Yeah, it was my first time as well. And
I met some good people. I was there because of Death of the Dead. I think that's one of the best movies I've ever been in.
yep, you're the old man zombie.
A what? No, it's the old man zombie.
That's what I said, the old man zombie.
That's what. Yeah, I thought you said young man zombie. No, it's the old man zombie. And my only line was, "Help me, help me! The bastards are eating my wife." And then Wanda grabs me. She doesn't believe me at first, and then she sees the zombies. She grabs me. She drags me down the road. She throws me in the taxi cab. I'm not even in the taxi cab. She takes the door. She slams it on my legs. My legs are cramped in there. The taxi hits down. They're straight. My legs are bouncing along, and I'm out of there. That was one of the best stunt shots I've ever done.
And that was a hard job, huh?
My knees still hurt. You saw it, didn't you, Gruesome?
I saw it.
You saw it in the movie. Yeah,
That was a quite entertaining movie. Like I tell everybody else, with Fear Makers, I was so wrapped up in the movie Dismal for the first 4 months before the Horrifying, and then I really didn't pay any attention to it, because I was so occupied in other things. But when we got there, then Bo and Justin and Gary invited me to go, watch the movie, and then that's when I did. And my father-in-law, my son, and I, we went to go watch it, and it's a very, very good movie. I mean, for the budget they used to make it, it's very, very good and very funny. They did a good job.
I got to tell you two things about it. First thing I want to say about it is they made it in Cleveland and Barberton. So they're in Cleveland, Ohio, Barberton, Ohio. A lot of great actors in Cleveland and Barberton. Second thing is, we were late. I had a technical problem, so we got to the place late. We got to Horrifying late, and we walked in just as the movie was ending. We thought we missed the whole thing. That's the only reason we went to Horrifying, well, the main reason at least. And here we find out they're having a second showing. First showing completely sells out.
Yep.
They got to have a second showing. The second showing was almost full.
Yep.
I mean, that was that was the highlight of the festival.
Well, I said this numerous times. I said it to Justin. I said it to Bo, and I'm going to say it to you. My experience with that whole Death of the Dead waiting in line bit, the people that worked at the theater thought I was part of the cast of the movie, so they sent me.
You're pretty gruesome.
What's this?
You're pretty gruesome. You are pretty gruesome. You were right in character.
But they sent
I'm
me.
sure you were.
They sent me and my father-in-law and my son somewhere else. I said, we ain't part of the cast. We had to go the whole way to the end of the line, and we just got in the first showing. Bo said, don't worry about it. I would have stuffed you in there somehow. But it was packed. I'm very happy for them, because that place was, I mean, the hooping and hollering, it went well. It was really, really good.
Heard it on the second showing. Well, it's on tour now. They're taking it around.
Yes.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's going to hit every city in the U.S., but it's going to hit a lot of them. Or at least I hope so.
Yep.
It's out on DVD too.
Yes, it is. I forgot to get myself one. I bought the Dismal when I was up there.
I think you can get it for Christmas.
Yes.
And you may or may not want to show it to the kids.
Right.
I mean, it's right in there with zombies, boobs, and blood, and it's got it all.
Right.
So you might want to hold it. You might want to hold it back until the kids get to be at least 14 years old.
Right.
But maybe 16, maybe 18. I don't know. It just depends.
Right.
Okay.
Now you also did another movie too. Probably just shortly before it, or was it after it? It's the Santa Claus versus the Zombies. You were the trucker zombie.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's done in down in Richmond. That's George Manilla's one of his movies, ZP International. He's been making good movies for years.
I want to see that one.
Yeah, now that one. On the other hand, he made that so that you could show it to the kids. He's got kids in the movie, and he kept out the rough language. He kept out any kind of I don't even know if he has blood in it. Frankly, I shouldn't say that. Let's see, does he have blood in it? He had plenty of zombies, and it certainly is fun. And he's got Santa Claus, and it's a great movie. So I went down with one of my buddies, Rance Martin, and we went down to shoot a schoolhouse scene. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I want to see that. Now, is that available for? I wonder if the screener's available for that, or is it? Well, yeah, it's done. Yeah.
I'm supposed to get a screener in the mail, and every day I walk out to the mailbox and I look for my screener. I haven't seen it yet, but it's going to come one of these days.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wants to hit it for Christmas. He wants to have it on. He wants it available for Christmas.
Cool.
So it's not hard to find his website. It's ZP International. And I don't know if it's going to be all mail order, how he's going to handle that distribution, or whether he's going to get it in any of the stores or Borders online or anything like that. But it will be available one way or another.
In case the listeners don't know who we're talking about, his name is George Bonilla. He's the director.
Oh, I get those double L's mixed up. So okay.
But now,
I would.
Go ahead.
It's like it's like vanilla ice cream. Is it double L's? And it's, what am I talking about? Okay. Yeah. He's and that led to Bunker of Blood. So, Rance and my buddy Rance and I went down. We were in the schoolhouse scene for Santa Claus versus the Zombies. I guess we did okay. So he invited us down to do a scene in Bunker of Blood, which he's working on right now.
Sweet.
And that's going to have a little bit more blood in it. I had my first little squibs, had my first little blood spurts, tore open the shirt and blood all down me, and it was a bloody mess. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It sounds good. Now, I guess I Am Legend, would that be your first? Yes.
Well,
Well, it's uncredited.
Well, first of all, it's whether you call it it was more of a. I'm not sure if it's a horror movie the way most people think of horror movies.
Yeah, true.
It had a virus. People were dying. People were, the main character Neville lost his wife and family in a helicopter trying to get out of Manhattan. Had surely had plenty of undead people, whether it's standard horror. But no, that's the first thing that I did that had any kind of undead horror virus type features to it. It's a good shoot. It's a bunch of fun.
How'd you ever get involved in that? May I ask?
They needed enough extras that I picked it up on. We have a local actors list called NeoPal, which is the Northeast Ohio Professional Actors List.
Okay.
And somebody posted in a casting call from a small talent casting company in New York. Now, I Am Legend had, they had about at least 6, maybe 8 different casting companies casting people in on it. So I just responded, sent my picture in, sent my stuff in, and got a call, got a booking on it, and just found a place to stay in New York. It was more than a week, I think like 7 or 8 days. We shot that under the Brooklyn Bridge. It was in January. It was down. The temperature went down to 14 degrees. The helicopters were coming in over the East River and whipping up foam and stuff, and that was hitting us in the face as we're trying to be extras in this movie. And all I really was an extra as part of the crowd trying to escape New York City. And as you watch the movie, you'll see that there's a flashback to it 2 or 3 times. And I'm part of that part of that film. You know, extras are the people who really make a movie, as far as I'm concerned, because they're the ones that really give it life. You can get 5 or 6 great actors, but if you don't have those extras, those crowds, that throng of people, it's just not the same thing.
Right.
It doesn't have the glitches you'll see in some of the independent movies. And if you need to see that kind of stuff, it's not going to be there quite as much. But I think it's a worthwhile movie. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. Probably see it again. It's a pretty good movie. Now, that's the 3rd remake of The I Am Legend. They did Last Man on Earth. That was done over in Italy. That was the first one. That had Vincent Price, and that was that. That was sort of rough. They had it looked like something that you would see as an independent movie over here. Low budget, ultra low budget.
Right.
But it's still a lot of fun. Second one was you know the name of it, Omega Man.
Yeah.
So Omega Man, and that was Charlton Heston. Now that's the first. That was a good one. I liked Omega Man. So I Am Legend is a 3rd remake. It's a Matheson, based on the Matheson short novel. Pretty good movie.
Now, I should mention it's not a horror movie, but you were uncredited, but basically it's your first movie that you were in, Spider-Man 3.
Well, that's how I really got into movies. It was Spider-Man 3. There's the armored truck scene. Sandman's trying to escape from Spider-Man. He's racing down the streets of New York City, and he ultimately dissolves and escapes. But most of Spider-Man 3 was shot in New York City, but there was that one scene where they had to have the armored truck, and it's, my understanding is just too expensive to shoot it in New York City because they needed about 10 blocks of streets to do it. So they shot that right in downtown Cleveland. It was 6 or 7 days. 6 or 7 days of filming. It's not a real, there's not that many minutes in the movie of that scene, but it was a full, 6, 7, 8 day shoot. And that's the first thing I did. Read about it in the paper. Went in for the casting call. There was, the way every other casting call is in a big movie like this, there were thousands in line, some in their Spider-Man costumes. And I think they cast more than 1,000 extras in that. And that would be drivers on the street, and then pedestrians on the sidewalk. You may not have seen that in the movie, but they were there.
Wow.
It's one of those things that ends up on the editing floor.
So now,
It's a lot of fun.
how exactly do you get picked for that? I mean, if you're only picking it, what are they looking for? I mean, as far as a extra.
You fill out your sheet. This was the first one I'd ever done. I didn't have headshots. I didn't have a resume. Just a guy off the street filled in the form. They ask if you had 2 things special. Did you have a car, and did you have a dog? I didn't have a dog, but I did have a car, so I wrote down the car that I had and said it would be available. It fit into what they needed in cars. Generally, film doesn't like certain colors like white cars because it messes things up for them. But my car was a nice, not a later model, but it is a nice Honda Civic, sort of racing green, little spoiler on the back of it. And it fit their criteria of what they wanted. So they took us down. They picked maybe 25 of us, took us down to the municipal airport, down in the parking lot, cleared out all the cars, and they brought in a stunt driver. And they lined us up, and they put us in a what's called a weave pattern. It's 2 rows of cars and sort of at space crisscross to each other.
Right.
And they brought in a stunt car. Okay, the stunt car, they had us drive down the parking lot. The stunt car races down between us. That's the first thing they do. Okay, that's fine. They had us drive backwards, get back into our position one. This time the stunt driver comes straight towards us, between us. So we had two rows of cars, and the stunt driver in this big, I think it was Dodge, big Dodge Charger. He comes racing right between us. Okay, we got through that. We went back to our position one. Last little stunt to see if we could do it. He comes, but now he's weaving in and out. He's cutting right in front of you, and then he's weaving right in front of the car right behind you, and back and forth. And if you could stay in formation, didn't panic, didn't stop, didn't clutch, you were going to be a driver in that scene.
Yeah.
So, it's sort of scary, driving down, you see this big car coming right at you, what's your tendency? Your tendency to want to veer away, stop, brake, or something. But you had to keep your foot on the gas, keep it steady speed, don't change, trust him to do his job, and everything will be okay. And it was.
Oh, wow. See? That's something that...
Yes.
That's something that myself and the listeners probably never even heard a story like that. That's interesting. That's good stuff.
Well, like for example, when we were shooting, we've got the armored trucks just coming down. It's in Cleveland, it's on Euclid Avenue. The armored truck is coming down in the regular lane to the left. As we're looking at it from the driver, that we were in a row of cars coming down sort of on the center. They told us keep your wheels right, keep your left wheel right on the line, and so we were going that way. The armored truck was coming this way to our left, and then to our right was a camera truck. So we're going between the camera truck to our right, the armored truck to our left. We were trying to stay straight, and this camera truck had a boom across coming over the top of us at the same time. So again, it's not your typical kind of driving situation.
Right.
But again, you drive straight, you drive, you just don't panic. It makes, you've got to trust that the people who are in there know what they're doing. You do your job, they'll do your job, and everything comes out fine. There's a hoot. There's plenty.
That's cool. It's called Real Steel.
That's the one I can't talk about.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'll tell you this much. They told us when we got on set that we weren't allowed to have cameras. We weren't allowed to have camera phones. We weren't allowed to call. We weren't allowed to give interviews. We weren't allowed to describe the action.
Really?
It's going to be a movie. This is about, and I can't tell you anything more than what you can read if you Google it online, but it's about robot boxing in the future. It's based on a short story by Richard Matheson, and Matheson's the same author who wrote I Am Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Also wrote short stories or screenplays for Twilight Zone. Really cool guy. Real Steel is robot boxing in the future. And they had these gargantuan, huge, 8-foot-tall robots in the ring battling away at each other. And we were all over Detroit on that movie. And it's going to come out around next Thanksgiving time. And it's going to be Wolverine's the star. I can't remember
Hugh Jackman.
There it is, Jackman. Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. He's the star on it. He's the one that operates this one robot. It's going to be a cool movie. I mean, that's one you're going to have to see. I think it's going to be better than almost anything. It's going to be one of the best of the year, that's for sure.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah, I did want to give props to Death of the Dead and Bo and the whole operation, because it was that was a great movie. Hey, thanks for calling.
No problem. Hey, if you don't mind, I'll give you a call.
Master Sensei, isn't there something? One special move I could use against my opponent?
There is one move. Run like hell.
There are blood-crazed zombies outside eating people and turning them into... ninja zombies. anyone gonna buy me a drink? Master Sensei!